Hi there, we are Lisa and Chris. Please join us aboard our main ship 390, Cool Beans, as we cruise America's Great Loop. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, where are we leaving and where are we headed?
We're leaving Cape May, New Jersey and headed to Atlantic City.
And how long will that take?
Probably about 6 hours.
And what route are we taking?
We're going outside into the Atlantic. We're not going to go the intercoastal.
And is that risky? Why are we doing that?
The weather seems to be calm today, and the intercoastal is very shallow with lots of hazards.
That's right, and we actually have a buddy boat today. I'll pan forward. There's our buddy boat for the day, Panacea. All right. Well, see you in Atlantic City. So before we started the loop, we didn't think we'd be out in the Atlantic, but we have found ourselves several times running on the outside when the weather was good. It's no problem when the wind and waves lay down. You can see here how calm the water is. We are just enjoying the day here, following our buddy boat and passing Wildwood, the cute resort town near Cape May. Then the fog started to roll in. It looked a little ominous and got to be where we couldn't see anything. We had to rely on our radar to see if any boats were in our path. A fellow looper took this photo of us. Spooky! We finally arrived at Atlantic City and had a great docktails with 8 other looper boats. A good time was had by all. Travel day 56. We went 38 nautical miles from Cape May, New Jersey to Atlantic City, New Jersey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are we? Where'd we leave? And where are we going?
We left the marina at Golden Nugget Hotel.
Yeah,
And we're headed to Atlantic City Boardwalk.
that's right. And this is a little bus called the Jitney bus. And it's a good way to get around Atlantic City, right?
So far, so good.
It's $2.50 a person, and it kind of takes you just about everywhere you need to go. So we'll see. The bus took us to the Hard Rock Casino, where we cut over to the boardwalk. We wanted to experience the iconic Atlantic City boardwalk and maybe ride the rides, but it was a Tuesday and the rides were closed. I guess because school wasn't out yet. We started walking down the boardwalk in search of lunch and found a place to have some seafood. After lunch, we walked another mile or so on the boardwalk, just enjoying the sights, including the beaches and casinos. We went into Caesars and played a few slot machines. Back at the marina, we enjoyed a quiet night, and I took this to show you our view from the flybridge. Pretty cool. Look at this gorgeous 100-foot boat, Fifi, right across from us. In this week's interesting boat information, we're going back to school for a minute and talking about knots versus miles per hour. Similar to nautical miles, knots are the preferred measure of distance for mariners and aviators for the same reasons. If you remember, using latitude and longitude coordinates is much more practical for long-distance travel, where the curvature of the Earth becomes a factor in accurate measurement. Knots are used to measure speed. 1 knot equals 1 nautical mile per hour, or roughly 1.15 statute miles per hour. You've heard us refer to our speed in knots. We generally travel at 7 knots, which is 8.1 miles per hour, and are happy if any current push gets us any more. Fun fact, why do they call it a knot? The term knot dates from the 17th century when sailors measured the speed of their ship using a device called a common log. The common log was a rope with knots at regular intervals attached to a piece of wood shaped like a slice of pie. Mariners would lower the wood piece into the water and allow it to float freely behind the ship for a specific amount of time, often measured with an hourglass. When the time was up, they would count the knots between the ship and the piece of wood, and that number estimated their speed. We stayed in Atlantic City a few nights, but it was time to leave and continue our journey, so we left bright and early with a few buddy boats towards Manasquan Inlet. We arrived safely at Captain Bill's Landing in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, where we filled up with diesel and ate a great lobster meal with 3 other loop boats. We had such a great time getting to know the other loopers. Travel day 57. We went 53 nautical miles from Atlantic City, New Jersey to Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are we leaving and where are we headed?
We're leaving Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and we're headed to the Statue of Liberty.
That's right. Oh my gosh. This is the day. This is one of those milestone days, right?
It is.
That we've been looking forward to. How's the weather?
Very windy, and water's got a moderate chop.
It does. And we debated for how long this morning, whether we were going to leave or not.
3 hours.
We did. Ultimately, we talked to some other boaters. We have a buddy boat behind us, Panacea. I'll pan over there in a minute. Tell everybody what just happened while we were leaving our slip, which is really not funny at all. It was very frightening.
Almost got T-boned by a shrimp boat.
We did.
We were parked next to a boat much bigger than ours, and we couldn't see to the left pulling out. And when we got out of the slip, he was probably 20 yards from us.
Yeah, we both panicked. I was on the bow.
One of us panicked. The other one drove the boat out of the way.
Well, you're right. I panicked a little, but I mean, I finished my job. But when I looked up, I mean, I was help pushing us off the piers, and I looked up, and this boat was right there, and it was extremely frightening. And I would have gotten hit first. But anyway, Chris got us out of there, thank God. And the other, our loop buddies that were back there called a minute ago and said, if it makes you feel any better, we didn't see him either. Basically, we were on a point. I'll try to show a picture in a minute. I'll show a picture of where we were and where he was coming from. And as fast as he was going, which is another issue that we had,
he couldn't have stopped.
He couldn't have stopped, and he probably didn't see us either. So warning, Captain Bill's Landing, it's a great place for gas, and they're very super friendly. Just be real careful when you're pulling out of your slip to the, to the east, I guess. All right, enough chit-chatter. Here we come, Statue of Liberty! We were here where the turquoise line is, stern in, so we were facing out when we left. He is the red line coming out of that area at a high rate of speed, and the angle was just enough that we couldn't see him until it was almost too late. We couldn't have backed up into the slip as the current had already blown us away from the slip. We were very lucky, and Chris is right. He didn't panic. He pushed forward and got us in front of the shrimp boat all the way out of the inlet. Here is that shrimp boat. Oh, and here's our buddy boat, Panacea. About 2 hours up the coast, we started to see the skyline of New York and also a bunch of lighthouses. Coming up to the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, the reality started to sink in. We were about to be in New York City and float by the Statue of Liberty. I got goosebumps as I admired this beautiful suspension bridge. The Verrazano was opened in 1964 and today has daily traffic of over 200,000 vehicles. I just can't describe the feeling of seeing Manhattan from our boat. This was so surreal, and a few minutes later, it was our first look at Lady Liberty. I took about 1,000 photos and video of her, but I obviously can't show them all here, so here are the highlights. We tried to get a selfie while Chris stepped away off the helm. This is the best we could get. Our buddy boat got this great shot of us right in front of the statue and this video of us, and we got this video of them. Today has been amazing, iconic, fulfilling, breathtaking, exciting, epic. But more than that, today represents a goal that we set. Seeing Lady Liberty in person from our own boat that we traveled over 2,500 nautical miles, leaving 106 days ago to achieve, is a milestone in our loop journey. I'm so proud of us. We have experienced so many highs and a few lows, but overall, we have grown in ways we never imagined. A great shot of cool beans in front of the Manhattan skyline, and it was time to head to the marina and tuck in for the night. I took a walk around before bedtime to take it all in. The skyline at night, Lady Liberty all lit up, and of course, our trusty cool beans. What a great day. Travel day 58. We went 39 nautical miles from Point Pleasant, New Jersey to New York City, New York. We met a couple at the marina who just started their loop this week from Boston, and they didn't have anyone to take their picture at Lady Liberty, so Chris and I said, "We'll do it." So the next morning we set out again towards the statue to take pics of perfect agenda and send to them. We also got a few more selfies with her. Since both Chris and I have been to New York City before, we wanted to keep moving north. We didn't go into the city like many loopers do. We were so excited to boat up the Hudson River with New Jersey on the port and New York on the starboard. I just can't explain the feeling. It was like being in a movie. New York City is gorgeous, massive, impressive, iconic. This is awesome, surreal, So cool. I saw this strange box-like building and this giant sculpture of a girl shushing the crazy noises in New York. Enjoy the next few videos of the amazing architecture and greatness that is New York City. The George Washington Bridge is amazing. It's a double-deck suspension bridge that opened in 1931, and today it carries 14 lanes of traffic, 7 in each direction. Once out of the city, the Hudson River landscape changes to rural, and little towns and villages dot the riverside. The Tappan Zee Bridge, or Cuomo Bridge, is truly amazing. A twin cable-stayed bridge that was originally built in 1955 and rebuilt in 2017. Chris glanced over and said, "That looks like a prison." So I looked it up, and it is a prison. It's Sing Sing Correctional Facility. You've probably heard it on TVs and movies. It is one of the oldest penal institutions in the United States in use since 1826. It's also amongst the most well-known in the country, especially notable for its harsh conditions in the 19th and 20th centuries. We arrived to our marina, worn out and exhausted, and enjoyed a beautiful sunset before heading to bed. Travel day 59. We went 36 nautical miles from New York City to Croton on Hudson, New York. There's a lot to do and see in the Hudson Valley, so we rented a car and jumped right in. Our first stop, a tour of West Point. As the nation's first military academy, founded in 1802, West Point prepares young men and women to become officers in the U.S. Army. Fun fact, students pay nothing for tuition, but in return for an 8-year commitment in the service, 5 active, 3 reserve. We had a great tour guide and learned so much. Everything here has a story. The Cadet Chapel was stunningly beautiful. Each stained glass pane is a donation from a graduating class and honors a class prior to the chapel being built. There is a stunning view of the Hudson Valley from West Point. It literally took my breath away. After the tour, we had lunch at a cute dive in West Point. After that, errands and provisioning. We had a great day. On our last day at Half Moon Bay, we took the advice of the dockmaster and went to see the new Croton Dam. Both Chris and I are so glad that we did. The new Croton Dam is a dam forming the new Croton Reservoir, both parts of the New York City water supply system. It stretches across the Croton River near Croton-on-Hudson, New York, about 22 miles north of New York City, and empties into the Hudson River. Construction began in 1892 and was completed in 1906. The masonry dam is 266 feet broad at its base and 297 feet high from base to crest. At the time of its completion, it was the tallest dam in the world. The marina is conveniently located next to a train station, so if we had wanted to go into the city, this would have been so easy. Now back to Cool Beans to get ready to leave early in the morning. What is your tip of the week?
This week, the tip's going to have to do with squeaking dock lines. I've got 2 ways to cure squeaking dock lines. I'll show you one this week, one next week. The easiest way we found, if at night you've got a line squeaking, you can't get to sleep, all you need is your dish soap. Squirt a little dish soap on your line. It won't squeak again for the rest of the night. Next week, I'll show you another way to make your line stop squeaking.
Great tip, honey. Thank you.
Welcome back aboard Cool Beans. This week we started in Cape May and left Cape May on, I believe, Sunday or Monday.
Yeah-ish. I don't know.
Went on the outside from Cape May into the Atlantic up to Atlantic City.
It's foggy.
It was super foggy that day. Basically did all of our navigating by radar. Had a big sport fish appear in front of us like a ghost. But we knew he was coming, but still it's kind of unnerving until you actually lay eyes on him. Got to Atlantic City, spent 3 days?
Yeah, I think 3.
3 days in Atlantic City.
So much fun.
Went to a few casinos, walked the boardwalk. That was awesome. We left Atlantic City to
Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
That day was a little bit rough.
It was.
Lots of waves, but we made it fine.
Stayed on the outside again.
Had to stay on the outside. The morning we were getting ready to leave, we were pulling out of our slip and we were almost hit by a shrimp boat going way too fast inside the harbor that we couldn't see him coming because the boat next to us was blocking our view. But we survived, apparently.
Allegedly.
And that day we went to New York.
New York Harbor, Lady Liberty.
Saw the Statue of Liberty, took lots of pictures.
How did that make you feel, seeing the Statue of Liberty?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was really neat, seeing it from your own boat. Took lots of pictures, like I said, of some boats we were traveling with. Spent the night there at
Liberty
Landing Marina. Really nice marina.
Right there next to the statue.
Right, yeah. Got up the next morning, went back to the statue, took some more pictures, got into a horrendous current. Spent about 2 hours driving 3.5 knots. Finally got out of the current and made it to Half Moon Bay, which is where we are now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is a different part of New York that neither one of us have ever been to. It's absolutely gorgeous, as you've seen in the pictures, because by the time you're seeing this, you will have seen the whole week. I went to West Point yesterday.
Went to West Point.
Oh my God. Amazing.
That was really amazing, and enjoyed that.
It was.
The Hudson River Valley is it's spectacular.
It's breathtaking.
Next week's video will also have more of the Hudson in it. Obviously, we just really got started into the Hudson, and
yeah, this is the start of it.
Quite a bit more to go.
I mean, this is the start of the valley. So, yeah, so that's it. And then we've only got a few more weeks until we're going to go home. So, we're going to plan to do a tour of Cool Beans while we're gone. We'll publish that. So we'll have regular content every week, even while we're gone. We're going to preload some videos, tour of Cool Beans, and maybe a halfway mark, just quick discussion about our thoughts on the loop halfway through.
Maybe do the best of.
The best of, yeah. So just be watching, and hey, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all of your kind comments and support. We really appreciate it. We do this for our friends and family, and a lot of you now become our friends. So thanks so much.
Keep the comments coming, and we'll see you next week aboard Cool Beans.